When we ponder money, our minds often conjure images of rounded metal pieces, printed paper sheets, and seemingly enchanted plastic issued by financial institutions. But what methods existed before the advent of currency? Long before modern currencies, people practiced barter, the direct trade of goods and services. Picture a Neolithic exchange. Person 1 possesses an axe, while person 2 owns a bag of corn. If person 1 needs corn and one person needs an axe, they can successfully trade. However, this system's flaw, known as the coincidence of wants, arises when both parties lack items the other requires. This limitation could lead to dire consequences, even starvation. To resolve this, a universally desired item was needed, the fundamental role of money. Initially, livestock like cows, sheep, and camels served as currency. Yet, their impracticality prompted the search for a more portable form. Cowrie seashells emerged as a durable and portable currency. Over time, money took various forms, including metals, stones, rice, spices, and other commodities. Metal coins emerged in Asia but weren't suitable for large transactions, leading to experiments with leather and paper, ultimately evolving into intangible forms of currency. Banknotes have their own history of pareidolia, where people perceive familiar shapes or patterns, such as the rumored Illuminati owl on the U.S. $1 bill. Similarly, some banknotes reportedly spell words like SX and scum through intentional arrangements of palm trees or patterns. Allegedly, a banknote from Germany features a vampire, although it resembles a joyful mole more than a vampire. Additionally, a series of Canadian notes supposedly depicted the devil, which led to modifications due to public concerns. Banknotes, handled by the majority of the population, act as microcosms of their environments, harboring various pathogens. Shockingly, studies reveal traces of feces and the potential for transmitting harmful microorganisms. There are fears that money could serve as a carrier for pathogens, potentially causing widespread outbreaks.
Oxfam estimated in 2016 that the top 1% would possess more wealth than the rest of the world combined by the following year. This staggering wealth inequality continues to be a significant concern. When many of us ponder currency, we conjure images of round metal pieces, printed paper sheets, and almost magical plastic issued by the bank's enchantment. However, in times long before the advent of modern-day currencies, people engaged in a practice known as barter, directly exchanging goods and services. An average Neolithic transaction might have appeared like this. Person 1 possesses an axe, while person 2 owns a bag of corn. If person 1 needs corn and person 2 requires an axe, a successful trade becomes plausible. However, this scenario highlights a fundamental limitation. Both parties must possess something the other desires, relying heavily on coincidence for a successful transaction, known as the coincidence of wants. If person 1 requires corn but person 2 lacks any interest in an axe, no trade occurs. And sadly, person 1 might starve. Resorting to violence to resolve this, like person 1 using the axe on person 2 to take the corn, would no longer classify as barter, but rather an unfortunate outcome. Hence, an item universally desired emerges as the fundamental function of money. Initially, livestock such as cows, sheep, and camels were used as forms of money. Carrying 15 cows in a wallet, however, became impractical. This led to the adoption of cowrie shells as currency for centuries due to their portability. Ever since, the determinants of what constitutes money have been its ease of use and durability. Throughout history, various items including gold, silver, stones, pelts, rice, salt, pepper, tea, cheese, hemp, barley, rum, beads, knives, arrowheads, and teeth have served as currency. Metal coins emerged in Asia around 2.5 millennia ago, but for large transactions, an even more portable medium was needed. Thus, the Chinese experimented with leather and eventually paper. With societal advancements, and technological progress. Money became intangible, reflecting the abstract concept itself.
Banknotes have a history of pareidolia, people seeing familiar patterns where none exist. An example is the supposed Illuminati-related owl on the United States $1 bill, which upon closer inspection reveals itself as a squiggly pattern. Another case is a banknote from Seychelles allegedly spelling out sex through palm trees, potentially a pareidolic illusion. Similarly, there are claims of a vampire depicted on a German note after World War I. Despite these interpretations, these are often subjective perceptions rather than intentional designs. Banknotes, handled regularly by most of the population, become a microcosm of their environment, accumulating whatever one touches. Studies consistently reveal that banknotes worldwide contain and facilitate the growth and transmission of various pathogens. Common contaminants include staph strains and pathogens associated with fecal contamination. Surprisingly, it's not uncommon for money to bear traces of feces, emphasizing the need for regular sanitation. The Oxfam Confederation estimated in January 2015 that by the following year, the wealthiest 1% would own more wealth than the remaining 99%, highlighting the extreme global inequality. Similarly, the 8 richest men in 2017 collectively owned as much wealth as the poorest 3.6 billion individuals, half of the global population. This glaring disparity echoes the realities illustrated by Scrooge McDuck, which appears more like a documentary on greed than a caricature. The dollar sign, recognized worldwide and symbolizing money, has origins traced back to the American Revolution and the first U.S. coinage in the 1700s. The symbol's exact origins are uncertain, but it potentially evolved from the abbreviation for the Spanish-American peso, PS, becoming superimposed as an S with a vertical line. Other theories suggest associations with the Spanish coat of arms or an amalgamation of U and S for United States or units of silver. Many currencies worldwide, including in the US, UK, Ireland, Canada, Brazil, and Spain, have traces of drugs like cocaine on their banknotes. Although these traces are microscopic, they've raised theories linked to the handling of money, such as through counting machines and money laundering rather than implying widespread recreational drug use.
Several financial terms retain interesting etymologies. For instance, salary derives from the Latin salarium, meaning salt money, reflecting the historical use of salt as currency. Buck as slang likely hails from the time when deerskin or buckskin was currency. The word money itself stems from the Latin moneta, associated with the temple of Juno Moneta in ancient Rome, where the first Roman coins were minted. Queen Elizabeth II has appeared on numerous currencies across various nations, being the most prevalent figure on global banknotes throughout human history. Her appearances across different denominations allow a progressive timeline of her life to be visualized. Interestingly, monkeys in research experiments have been taught fundamental concepts of money. In experiments about inequity, monkeys receiving different rewards for the same work perceived it as unjust. In other experiments, monkeys made choices between different foods they could purchase using coins, demonstrating a rudimentary understanding of economic trade-offs. Moreover, male monkeys used coins to pay females for sex, a unique example of barter or the first recorded case of animal prostitution. Benjamin Franklin once said that money doesn't breed happiness, and merely increases one's desires. Scientific research has indeed shown a correlation between wealth and reduced generosity, highlighting that thinking about money might decrease sensitivity towards others and increase narcissism. Balancing the pursuit of wealth with happiness appears crucial, considering that wealth doesn't inherently foster happiness, but rather the act of using financial resources to assist others, termed prosocial spending, has been linked to emotional benefits worldwide.